Hey friend, welcome back to Chronic Health Solutions. We are officially in the fall season, and I'm curious to hear if your chronic symptoms tend to flare up during the fall. I just want you to know, if you find this to be true, you are not imagining it, and you are also not doing anything wrong. In this episode, I am going to talk about why fatigue, inflammation, and burnout tend to spike during really the fall and winter seasons, and how small supportive rhythms or routines can help you to feel better without adding more to your already full plate. These strategies are going to be setting the stage for creating a calm and meaningful holiday for you in some episodes to come up as well. So let's get started. Welcome to Chronic Health Solutions. If you're more than just a tired mom, I'm talking trying to make it through the day without crashing by noon, you're not alone. I'm Ashley, a wife, mom, and certified health coach. I have been where you are, battling chronic health symptoms and chronic illness, things like brain fog, joint pain, and fatigue that made me wonder if I'd ever feel like myself again. After uncovering root causes like stress, poor sleep, and hormone imbalance, I found simple health routines to begin to feel better, one simple habit at a time. Keeping up with your kids is not impossible. Pop in your earbuds and take a break from the chaos. It's you time. All right, friend, tell me if this sounds familiar. You were just starting, like you're in the middle of summer and you were just starting to feel like you were finding a rhythm. Maybe your energy was really starting to steady and level out. Your brain was feeling clearer and you were finally getting into routines that felt manageable. And then bam, out of nowhere, a flare-up hits. Brain fog, exhaustion, joint pain, or mood swings. And then you're left wondering, why is everything worse again? I thought that I was doing better. I just want to encourage you, you did not mess anything up and you are not broken. Fall flare-ups are real. And today we're going to talk about why they happen, how you can support your body in a way that is actually going to benefit you without adding stress or guilt. I remember for years that around October, I would crash. September, I would have a really nice burst of energy, just have been in the sun, getting lots of vitamin D, outside all the time, moving my body. And then, getting everything geared up, ready to go for school, planning all of that out, getting into those new routines. And it would feel kind of like a clean slate. And I would think, okay, I've got this. Everything's going to go good. I've got a good routine. But then by early mid-October, everything was starting to unravel. I would feel like my joints were really achy. I would feel exhausted all the time, anxiety, brain fog, and then just forgetting appointments, misplacing things. I remember, even feeling overly emotional, maybe, like I said, a little bit anxious, all of that, and just feeling like, why can I not get ahead of this? Why is it that every time I feel like I take a couple steps forward, it's inevitably, 3 steps back? And the worst part of all of this was that I would often blame myself or think something was wrong with me. Eventually, I learned something very crucial, and that is that flare-ups were not failures. They weren't a sign that I was doing something wrong. They were just signals of my body asking for additional help, for rest, and for some really anchoring routines. Once I started listening to that instead of pushing harder and ignoring what my body was saying, things began to shift. I realized that I could really work with my body, and what I have noticed is that it just produces so much better results whenever I'm willing to kind of let go of that need to push and work with my body. So let's talk about why fall can feel kind of like a crash season. And, we talked about pushing. I think it was our last episode. We talked about pushing and then crashing afterwards. And a lot of times I think that fall can feel like just a crash season in general, especially for moms who do have chronic illness or they have chronic symptoms. Okay, so the first thing is that fall can be kind of like a stress stack season. It's where everything has been piling on. Back to school, new routines, extracurriculars, you have shorter days, maybe out less in the sun like you were in the summer, higher expectations, and then you've got this added pressure of all of the holiday stuff looming. You're going to be doing a lot of extra activities. You've got all of the planning you've got to do. And the thing is, stress hormones are going to affect your gut, your sleep, your immune system, and inflammation. So when we have all of the stress that has been stacking since like early August, a lot of times we start to feel the effects of that into the fall season, because it's like it's all piled enough now that our body is really showing that stress that we have not managed well for the last few months. Okay, number 2 is that seasonal changes can disrupt your body's rhythm. And I've kind of touched on this a little bit, but cooler temperatures, shorter days, and spending more time indoors and less time outdoors can, it can upset your circadian rhythm. It also can affect you because you're not getting that vitamin D from the sunlight. But it can, when we're looking at, okay, it's disrupting my circadian rhythm, it can mess with things like sleep quality, your hormone balance, your mood, digestion, your ability to recover from the stress that you've been experiencing. And those small shifts can hit really, really hard if you're already carrying some kind of chronic illness or chronic fatigue, any type of chronic inflammation. Again, we're looking at it just stacks up in the body, and then you really start to feel those effects. Okay, number 3 could be that you're not getting enough rest. Most of us keep moving at that summer speed. And for some of us, it could look different. Maybe you're off in the summers and that's actually more of a laid back. And so what you actually find is you become much busier right in the middle of August, September. Or it could be that you were running all the time in the summer and you've just kept that going. And so you really haven't made time for rest. When we're having, again, the days start to get shorter, we tend to have more stimulation because we have so much more going on. And then that constant to-do list, your body is going to get depleted, but often we have so much to do that we just continue to push through. So we're not getting that rest that we need. And then that's when we notice that our energy begins to really dip. We might notice symptoms flaring up, and then also we start to feel that guilt for not keeping up like we think we should. I just want to encourage you again, as you're noticing this, just remember that these signs, these symptoms are not, they're not failures. It's just a signal to your body. Your body is telling you that it needs something that you're not giving it. So if we can find some good anchoring routines to really help our body to feel stable and safe and secure, not only can we kind of cut down on our to-do list of the things we need to do to take care of ourselves, but we can begin to feel better too. So let's talk about some practical strategies for kind of like a fall reset. These are some really simple, low effort, low energy ways that you can support your body. And then also look at laying the foundation for the really busy holiday season. Those holiday anchors, again, I'm going to touch on these in a couple of upcoming episodes, where you can really start to set yourself up now, but also for the holidays. Okay, the first thing is that you want to honor your energy wherever it is at on that current day, current week. So you could just pause weekly and ask, what kind of energy week is this? Is it low energy? Is it high energy? What kind of capacity do I have this week? And then plan your week around that. Adjust your expectations. Don't fight or push against what your body is needing in that time. Just work with what you have. And I love the idea of, is this a low energy or a high energy week? Because as someone who has struggled with chronic illness, I definitely relate to that. There are times when it is like, woo, I can do everything. And then there are weeks where it's like, okay, this has got to be low energy. I need simple meals. I might not be getting to my whole to-do list this week. I just need to prioritize the bare minimum and get by with that. And that's okay too. Okay, number 2 is going to be anchoring your nervous system in routines. Now, again, we talk about these all the time. Morning could be stepping outside for 5 minutes of light and fresh air. Midday, maybe you're pausing to move your body for 10 to 15 minutes, taking a walk. Maybe you're praying while you're walking, anything like that. Evening, dimming the lights, a couple hours before bedtime, having some soft music playing, having some time to stretch, have some kind of a devotional, or maybe you're using like a coloring book. I love to do that in the fall and winter months where I have relaxing music playing and I'll do like an adult coloring book. And just really building these routines into your day. I call them an anchor routine because these are the anchors that are going to keep your body functioning the way that you want it to. And again, the goal with these anchor routines is that we want them to be short, quick, and easy to stick with, easy to do over and over again. It's something that doesn't feel like a huge task or a huge undertaking. It's something that we can just say, yes, this is a habit. This is why it's an anchor routine. It anchors our body and our day, and it helps us to really keep on that path to feeling our best. Okay, so again, these routines are going to help your body to shift out of that survival mode into being able to repair and really restore. And they're the exact type of strategies that are going to make moving into the holiday season, make it so much less stressful and where you really feel like you can be present and engaged. Okay, number 3 is that you want to nourish and recover. So think about ways that you can nourish your body and then, of course, recover from the stress that you do experience on an everyday life. We've talked before about the importance of completing that stress cycle. Like we experience the stressor, but we have to complete it by recovering so our body can come out of that stress state. So things like warm, supportive foods, soups, broths, root vegetables, all of that can be really nourishing and just cozy, comfort foods, but even taking that healthy spin on it. So it's nourishing for our bodies. If we can figure out ways to sit down, really engage and focus on our meals, making sure that we are anchoring them in protein and healthy fats as well to stabilize our blood sugar, that can be a great way to nourish and help your body to recover. And then focusing on routines and consistency instead of constantly adding new things, new protocols, I'm going to try this, this, and this, because that really is a stress on your body and on your mind as well. So if we can instead say, okay, I'm going to pick a few things that I will do consistently over time until I am doing those without even having to think about it, and then I will add on new routines from there. And the reason why this is so important is, while yes, all these new protocols and routines might help you in helping your body to feel better, your body, before you can do all of that, your body needs stability. It really does. Before you go into the crazy busyness of the holiday season, you need to add that stability. Your body needs to feel the stability of being cared for and taken care of. It needs to know that you will give it the rest it needs. You will give it the food and the nourishment that it needs. Okay, so instead of asking yourself when you feel this fall flare-up happening, why is my body failing me? Ask, what is my body asking for? And then just respond with, okay, my body is needing sleep. Well, then I'm going to take a 10-minute rest. Or I really feel like I'm not getting the proper amount of nourishment. Well, I'm going to make some homemade bone broth and sip on that for like a warm, nourishing, well, it wouldn't be a full meal, but you can add that into your meal. Maybe it's that I am really, really stressed and overwhelmed and I feel like I have too much on my plate. Well, then it's pausing and taking a few minutes to take some deep breaths and really help your nervous system to regulate. Or it could be that you delegate a task where you say, no, I actually can't take on that responsibility right now. These anchors are going to not only support you during your fall flare-ups, they're going to also create that foundation for feeling your best, for being able to function and be present with your family. And then next week, we're going to start layering in some kind of sensory routines, some evening wind downs, and also some cozy connection moments that you're going to be able to really experience with your family that are also going to keep your nervous system calm and regulated while the busyness and the chaos of the holiday season begins to ramp up. And that'll be a little bit of I think it's a 3-part series that we're going to be doing. Okay, so I just want to encourage you that whenever a flare-up hits, you don't have to panic. You don't need to start pushing harder, doing all kinds of crazy protocols, or feeling guilty. You just need to pause and respond with one of those anchor routines, with resting, with recovering, with nourishing your body. Those are the exact strategies that I teach as well in my coaching. So if you guys want to come over there and figure out, okay, I'm getting into the holiday craziness, and I really feel like I need some additional support for giving my body those healthy foundations, then head over to ashleybraden.com/coaching. And I would love to chat with you and we can come up with a plan for you to work through how can I feel my best this holiday season. All right, friends, that is all for this episode. I hope you guys have a wonderful week and I'll see you back next time. Hey friend, I hope you found today's episode helpful. If you did, would you take a minute to share it with another mom who's struggling with chronic symptoms? And leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It means the world to me to know this podcast is making a difference for you. All right, it's time for me to go tackle those snack requests, and remember that a short walk, even if the kids turn it into a race, still counts as self-care. Keep chasing those little wins. Even when it feels messy, you're making progress. The information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your health routine. I'm not a doctor, and this podcast is not intended to treat or diagnose any condition. You're the expert on your body. Listen to it and reach out to a trusted provider for support.